What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol BBBY for Bed Bath & Beyond Company. On the left-hand side, we do have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, because we have not yet covered this one together on the channel, we'll come in and give ourselves a quick daily roadmap, just pointing out obvious areas of support and resistance, and that sort of leads me to my next point, which is the glaring gap in the chart from this morning's earnings gap down. So up and over 18, and again, I'm not saying this has to happen all in one day, all in 1 week even, but over 18, we would expect this gap to start filling up towards that 2220-ish area, we'll call it for round number's sake. The reason we would expect that, of course, is because looking left here, there's not a whole lot of recent candle structure. Obviously, in the past, there is some there, but in terms of recent structure, absolutely zero. Let's try to find some supports underneath, and to do that, we're going to have to get a little bit more time on the chart here. So doing something like this, and what we'll notice is that, of course, under today's low at 1571, we'll call it, we are looking at the top of a prior gap, so that's kind of interesting there. But underneath the next major shelf of prior resistance, let me zoom in on that a bit so you can see it here. This point of resistance, right, will start to act as support. That's at 13 also, the nice round number. So I like it for psychological reasons as well as structural reasons. So that's what we have to the downside. Let's take a look at this through the lens of the 30-minute here and talk a little bit more nuance. Obviously, today's session was a nice grind to the upside, and this is great in comparison, of course, to what we had across the broad market, which was some decent chop and movement to the downside, of course. So making this a little bit bigger so it's easier to see on your screens here. There we go. That's looking much, much better. Let's take out the Fibonacci's and look at it through that lens. So from the low of the move up to the high of the first move, obviously we held on to the 61.8. The next move here, we held on to the 38.2. We'll go on up to the next, obviously held the 38.2 there. So we'll go into the high of today at least. And what we'll notice is that into the end of the day, this last 30-minute pullback, it did respect the 38.2. Note the lower wick on that candle. So that's going to be the line in the sand, in my opinion, especially noting that we did respect it on today's session. So it's not like we're pulling this out of thin air. It also has a structural element to it. Let's get rid of the fibs and talk about some scenarios now. So any healthy consolidation that exists up here, fine, looking for the breakout up and over 18 to, again, start filling the gap up towards 2217. A breakdown of 1712 and you're being patient, right? You're probably not buying the pullback unless it comes into 1571 and, right, this is a two-piece equation, we start printing hammer candles, indecision doji candles, basically anything that makes you question, is the pullback ending? Can we flip long over the highs and get back up into some of the upside targets? Notably, also, we're going to have this area in here, the first sort of breakout high that we saw at the 1687-ish mark that will act as resistance on this way back higher if that's the scenario that pans out. Now, how will you know if 1571 is going to hold or not? Well, obviously, if we get big-bodied red candles coming through it like this, it's likely we would consider that broken, right? So you would be looking for a move back down into 13. This brings me to my next point, though, which is, of course, if we look at what's going on with volume, so big move to the upside, all of the consolidation was sort of on lesser and lighter volume. I'm not necessarily expecting a full rollover here. As a matter of fact, I think the likely scenario is healthy consolidation and potential for a breakout higher, especially if we get a bit of a relief rally in the broad market into our Friday session. So those are my thoughts here inside of Bed Bath & Beyond. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new, definitely let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.